Hello out there, this is Terkanil, and welcome back to RxCraft. We have decided to take up a new major project for our server. This one initially began as a partial idea from Am, and then I came up with a similar idea, and now we're just going to combine them two into one big project. The idea? We're going to build a power plant. We each have our own power generation rooms, and as a result we also have our separately fuel storage rooms. And we both crank out a lot of energy, and we both store a lot of fuel, but we're doing it all separately, and it's not exactly the most efficient on the server. So we're just going to build one big structure to do it all for us. On top of that, we're also going to give ourselves multiple forms of power generation and fuel. So we are going to be busy, and we're out at spawn to get this begun or started. I'm having trouble with my vocabulary today. But the first part of our project involves deciding where to put this thing. So I came up to the top of our iron farm to give myself a good bird's eye view of the area and see what would be best, because we're wanting to build this out in our spawn chunks here. Sorry for the villagers, they're a little loud. But it's a question of where we're going to put it. These really are loud. Maybe I should turn that off. So, as I mentioned out some point in previous episodes, that pillar marks what is effectively the center of our spawn chunks. So, we've got a pretty good area, and I'm thinking that it might be best to go off either that way, or maybe into these hills. So let me wander around here a little bit. I know Am is going to be heading out here pretty quick here, and we're going to find a decent place. Somewhere along the way, we're also going to end up moving the portal house here. Well, this structure worked out well because of the location, or at least should say worked out well initially, because of the location of the iron foundry here. The portal that we have down below here is what is synced up to our spawn portal in the nether. As a result, not exactly useful for us at this point. So it needs to be relocated so that we can have two separate portals that do not interfere with each other. So we'll be doing that somewhere along the way, probably either this episode or next, not sure, as our current project is probably going to take more than just one episode. This is going to be a joint project between Am and I, so you're going to hear both of us going for at least this current episode. But I'm going to go start wandering, and we'll be back once we've decided upon a good location to stick the structure. Alright, we have our base location chosen. After some discussion, we ended up picking out what you see down there with that quarry. So this location is going to be the tower for Am's major part of the project. So this thing is going to have a couple different wings all spliced together. This is going to be his tower for a mushroom farm. So the idea he had for part of what he was going on was a biofuel fuel base, which the idea was take zombie flesh and cook it together in a I think it's one of the new thermal expansion engines, isn't it? Isn't one of the new thermal expansion engines you're thinking of, or is it EnderIO one?
EnderIO.
EnderIO. In that case, so this guy, the zombie generator, I think is what he was looking at. So apparently, this is a little bit new recipe for it, but apparently it's you feed nutrition distillation into it with which would be in this case a kind of mush generated from mushrooms, hence mushroom tower farm, and then combine that with zombie flesh, and you get a pretty decent power output. So get a few of those going with the output from this mushroom farm, and we have some renewable fuel. On top of that, we're going to move over both of our fuel storage. So we'll end up cleaning out 2 rooms for our bases, and then we can repurpose them for whatever we need. But we'll have 2 forms of power generation as needed. So it should keep our bases and all of our works fueled for a long time to come. So now that this hole is being dug for the towers, we get to go and start planning out the rest of the structure. And as you can see here, we are fairly close to spawn. We got... wish I could remember how to zoom in. You can see the block tower right there, which is spawn center, meaning that's where your compass will take you to. That dirt tower right there, my cursor is at, is the center of the spawn chunks, meaning we go 8 in any direction, and we can then map out our spawn chunks. Basically, the area of the server that is always loaded. And you can kind of see that from the sky. From here, sort of. So we're keeping ourselves within that. And we're going to get this built. So I'm going to get myself back down to ground and start plotting out the rest of this structure. It has been a little bit since we got going. Our hole has dug down to bedrock, and Am has started his insane structure. So you can see it reaching way up there. I don't even know actually how tall that is. It's up above 200 someplace. Let me see if I can...
248.
248? Alright, it's way up there. Let me see if I can get myself above this thing. There we are. So yeah, 248, and... boy, that's tall. I can still see the ground, if just barely. So this is part of our big construction project. This is Am's part of it. I'm actually going to just drop and start on the next part. So this tower is connected to one of the wings for the biofuel production. So we can use that thing either once we have run out of fuel or just alongside of it all. He said he had an iron around here someplace. There you are. I'm going to be building the wing for standard fuel power generation, as well as the fuel storage, since all of that's going to be relocated out here, which will end up giving us both a lot of extra space to play with, but it'll make things easier on us in the end. So I made some basic size notes, so I know what to plan for. So we're going to mark out the full wing for this thing, and then get the extra wings planned out. So let me get those marked off, and I'll be back when we start building. Am's work is well underway. He's up there, I think, someplace. Not sure anymore. But as you can see, he's got quite a lot of mycelium in there. Mushrooms. And you can see roughly right about there where he's managed to reach. He's been quite productive. Me, not so much. Still trying to figure out the layout of this place. Hopefully I'll have that up and drawn out shortly so I can start laying the footwork. We'll see. Alright, we've begun digging out and laying the wall for part of the power plant, going to the west of the tower. But in order to get the floor and part of the outside of the plant area, because we want to give it a bit of an industrial look, we're going to be using some of the chisel blocks that I've not played with really yet. That is the factory blocks. So to make these I need iron and stone. Well, at least I got plenty of all that. Let's come over here. How many stacks did I grab? 7? 5, 6, 7. We'll see what this does for us. So, let's stick out. So it said, drop those there, and we get factory. And that will give us a large number of factory blocks to work with. Once I have those, I can head back out to the plant construction location and start putting that up. I've already got some of the walls built, just to outline the north side of the structure, as well as the room I'm currently working on. But we're going to be using these for the floor. I'm looking at probably, let's see, either base or this one. Rusty metal plate might work. There's a couple actually here that might work pretty nicely. Alright, looks like I'll be playing with that once I get back over there and then see which one looks best. So, see you once I get some of that put down. So the first room is partially walled, and we have floor in. We're using this wire frame for the flooring of this room here. And then I'm using this color here, which will be the vats. So the design that Am built up for processing the mushrooms and then the zombie flesh would go here. It can fit into a roughly 4x4 space, but to make it look a little more interesting, I spread it out to a 6x6. So it should be fully covered in the space with hopefully a 1 block wide extra ring or block square around the piece. I set 2 up just to make it look symmetrical. The fuel for all that will be right here along the wall. And then we're going to have storage somewhere in this area here, and then the actual power module will be somewhere right around this section here. So I get to drag this wall that way. This is going to take me a few minutes since I get to actually plan out the size of this. Probably right about here should do. Alright, back to digging. So we have a short interlude from building the room, as needed to build a bunch of zombie generators. This is the item we'll be using to provide us most of our power at the power plant, and it's connected with the tower that was being built. So these little guys right here use nutrient distillation, which are powered through the NotEnoughItems vats. So these guys. So it doesn't take a great amount to build these things, as you can see. Just iron primarily. A couple other things and a little bit of electrical steel. We're going to be using a number of these alongside the zombie generators. And we're just having to get all the materials together to get them going. The hardest of which is fused quartz. Each of the zombie generators requires 5 fused quartz, 3 electrical steel, and then one of these zombie electrodes. Zombie electrodes use the slice and spice, which is just around the corner here. These 2 guys. Am has been making these at his base, so we just grabbed a bunch of the items from his base, came back here, as I've got a lot more quartz than he does. So we're just getting everything together here. Still got a bit of quartz in this box feeding in. And looks like I can make another round of these. So right now we have 56 of these generators. I think that should... Ooh, a little bit short. So almost have a full stack. Looks like I just need to make some more electrical steel. Did I have any more cooking, or did I already use it? I used it. Okay. So it looks like I get to make some more of that. I'm not certain how much silicon I've got. Enough. Alright, we're good. So I just get to go toss this all in here to get this all cook it up. And then we can see about getting at least the one more, if not more than just the one stack. I'm not entirely certain how many Anne was originally shooting for the first module of the we're going to be sticking in the room, but I'll be discussing that with him shortly. So I'm going to get these built up and transported out to the plant site and then get that room finished. And hopefully I'll be picking up at that point unless I find another reason to have to interject. So, see you in a bit. Alright, we're back at our project site. Am is working on getting the main module generator going, which means we're putting a bunch of these zombie generators. This center area here will be the module space. So the floor is now completed. It's now just getting some walls up to contain the area and then light it. Then we're going to have a hallway coming off here and heading off that way. Haven't quite sorted that part out, but I'm going to put the doorway right around here, or maybe down here. Not sure yet. That's going to be around here anyway. So, on to a little bit more digging and building and gathering a few more pieces to stick in those two plots. Alright, we have mostly completed the first cavernous room that we have for this project. We have M's first power module here with a lot of these zombie generators. Kind of hard to see them. We put a cap over the top as a for protection. We'll see how that works. Of course, it doesn't really be needed anymore since now I've covered the entire place. We've got our first set here for the fluid generation. We're going to be building a second here and then link them together. All it runs into that module there. And then, of course, we have Am's mushroom tower. It's only partially complete. We've still got to do the second part of it. Should go in that space there. And then all the way up. But this room is done. Still a lot more work, and we're going to have to break this into another episode just to make it easy to manage everything. Otherwise, this could get very, very long. So, that will be it for this episode. This is Terkanil, signing off.